You're talking to someone about that party last night. You say, "Yo man, that party was off the chain." Unfortunately, the person you're communicating with does not speak English. "No comprendo. No hablo inglés. Hablo español," he responds. Okay, so he's saying that he doesn't understand and that he speaks Spanish, not English. So you have to translate what you just said into Spanish. How in the world are you going to do that? See, the problem is that there isn't a literal expression for off the chain in Spanish. So what should you do? Well, try to capture the meaning of this expression. In this context, off the chain probably means crazy. So we could translate that party was off the chain as "Esa fiesta fue loca," or that party was crazy. Now this translation may not be exact, but the claims are pretty much the same. If the party was off the chain, then it was crazy. And if it was crazy, then it was off the chain. That is to say that the first statement is true exactly when the second one is true as well. The language of logic has a fairly simple vocabulary of logical connectives. Or, and, not, and if-then are some of the connectives we covered in the previous lectures. Because of this, translating English statements into logic text messages can be tricky. Let's consider a simple compound statement as an example. Suppose you ask your friend to go to the store to get some paper plates for the barbecue. Later, when you ask if he's gotten them, he responds, "Well, I went to the store, but I forgot to get the plates." Now we could just represent this entire statement with the letter S, but doing so ignores the fact that this claim actually combines two independent statements, each of which can either be true or false. The first part of the statement is, "I went to the store," which can be true or false. The second part of the statement is, "I forgot the plates," which can also be either true or false. So let's use S for "I went to the store" and P for "I forgot the plates." Now the question is how to translate the word "but," compounding the two clauses together. As we did in the translation from English to Spanish, we want to capture the meaning of the statement. So let's consider all of the possible combinations of truth values for S and P, and what truth value "I went to the store, but I forgot the plates" would assume in each of these cases. Since S represents "I went to the store" and P represents "I forgot the plates," we use S but P as our texting abbreviation. Here we put the "but" in quotation marks since we don't have a direct translation for it in the language of logic. Okay, so if your friend went to the store and your friend forgot the plates are both true statements, then his statement that "I went to the store, but I forgot the plates" is true. So if S is true and P is true, then S but P is also true. In other words, if he really did go to the store and he somehow forgot to buy the only item that you asked for, then he's telling the truth. If your friend went to the store is a true statement, but your friend forgot the plates is a false statement, then his claim that "I went to the store, but I forgot the plates" is false. So if S is true and P is false, then S but P is false. So if he did what you asked, but then says something like, "Oh shoot, I went to the store, but I forgot the plates," then he's trying to trick you for a brief moment before that, "Nah, I'm just messing with you." If your friend went to the store is a false statement, but your friend forgot the plates is a true statement, then his claim that "I went to the store, but I forgot the plates" is false. So if S is false and P is true, then S but P is false. If, for example, your friend forgot about the plates, so he didn't go to the store, but he wants you to think that he did go to the store for some reason, then he's lying to you when he said he went to the store but forgot the plates. If your friend went to the store and your friend forgot the plates are both false statements, then his claim that I went to the store but I forgot the plates is false. So if S and P are both false, then S but P is false. If, for example, your friend remembered the plates, but he didn't want to admit that he didn't feel like going to the store, he might lie by saying that he went to the store but suffered from some temporary amnesia where he somehow just forgot what he came in for. So now that we know in what cases S but P should be true, and in what cases it should be false, we can try to translate S but P, or I went to the store but I forgot the plates. So what's a possible translation into the language of logic? Well, in this case, we notice that S but P was true exactly when both S and P are true. That is to say that I went to the store but I forgot the plates is true exactly when I went to the store and I forgot the plates are both true statements. Notice that if we replace but with and, then the same thing is true. In other words, I went to the store and I forgot the plates would be true exactly when I went to the store and I forgot the plates are both true statements. Therefore, a possible translation of I went to the store but I forgot the plates would be S and P, represented by S upside down V P. Now it should be noted that using and instead of but sacrifices some subtlety of the statement. In other words, if you ask your friend to go to the store to get plates, you assume that he remembered the plates once he says that he went to the store. The word but tells you that contrary to what you thought, he forgot the plates. The word and does not convey this. However, for the purposes of this translation, we only consider each of the statements, I went to the store and I forgot the plates, as being true or false. And then we try to find a way of expressing I went to the store but I forgot the plates in the language of logic, so that the truth values match in all possible cases as we just did here. Here, and serves as a possible substitute for but. In the next lecture, we'll consider other examples of English statements that use words outside of our current logical connective vocabulary. But now let's conclude this lesson by summarizing the procedure for translation that we just did. Step 1 is to identify all components of the statement that can be assigned a truth value of true or false. In this case, the components were I went to the store and I forgot the plates. Step 2 is to assign letters to each of these statements. Here we used S for I went to the store and P for I forgot the plates. Step 3 is to draw out a table of all possible truth values for each of the letters and the corresponding truth values for the compound statement. Here there were 4 possibilities. S and P are both true, in which case S but P is true. S is true but P is false, in which case S but P is false. S is false but P is true, in which case S but P is false. Or S and P are both false, in which case S but P is false. The final step 4 is to try to find a translation in the language of logic for S but P so that the truth values line up in each of the 4 cases. In this example, all we needed to do was replace the but with the upside down V representing and to accomplish this.